I've been talking all this time, and y'all didn't hear anything because I had my mic muted and didn't realize it. Okay, so anyway, let me go ahead and give a quick recap of what this case is. The three main people in this case are Madeline Soto, who is the victim, Jennifer Soto, who is her mother, and Stefan Stearns, who is her mother's on-again, off-again boyfriend. Maddie turned 13 on February 22nd, had a birthday party at her grandparents' house on Sunday, February 25th. Sometime during the late night of the 25th or early morning of the 26th, Madeline was murdered by Stephen Stearns. I want to believe that it happened around 2:30 in the morning because one of the roommates, because there were two roommates that shared this house with Madeline, Jennifer, and Stefan. One of the roommates heard noises coming from a bedroom around that time, and so I tend to believe that those were the noises of Stefan either actively murdering Madeline or moving things around after he had murdered her. And possibly a tussle between the two that led to the murder. Now, on February 26th, Stephen Stearns claims to have dropped Maddie off near her school that morning. That afternoon, Jennifer went to pick Maddie up, and Maddie never came out. Jennifer then went to her mother's office because sometimes Maddie would walk there, it's nearby, and Maddie had not been seen there. She looked around the neighborhood, went back to the school, contacted a teacher who emailed her Maddie's attendance for the day, and Maddie had not been in school all day. Jennifer calls the police. They wait at her mother's office for the police to arrive to take the missing persons report, which happened around 8 or 8:30 that evening. Um, the next day, on the 27th, both Jennifer and Stefan were interviewed by the police. Um, the police gathered a lot of evidence really early in the case that led them to believe that Maddie was already deceased before the time that Stefan claims to have dropped her off at school. I'm not going to ruin this for you by giving away too much information because I want you to dig into this case for yourself, listen to the interviews for yourself, make your own conclusions and not just go by what I said or what any other YouTuber said. So there's that. Now I want to give a shout out to the docket, to Plunder, and to Gray Hughes Investigates, who went in together to do an almost $4,000 FOIA request to get all this material, these interviews, these documents, and everything else that they're putting out here on the Madeline Soto case, and they are making it available to other YouTubers to use, which I think is so selfless and so amazing. So if you're not already subscribed to the docket, Plunder, and Gray Hughes Investigates, make sure you do that. Make sure you check out their channels, but not right now. Stay over here with me so that we can listen to this interview together. Um, I've already got everything queued up, and we are ready to go. But first, let me put out a disclaimer and a trigger warning. All right, so it's already queued up. I'm going to go ahead and start playing it. I am going to comment on this from time to time. to make it transformative so that it falls in line with copyright guidelines. And also because this is just my reaction to and commentary on this video and its content.
So much for, I don't know if I have the wrong phone number for you. I tried calling, left a message, but I don't know if I have the same number, but regardless, we're here. So once again, I'm Detective Morris. I'm the one that's the lead investigator in this case. And this is Reyes Soto. Didn't know if you spoke English or Spanish, so that's the reason I brought him, because he speaks Spanish. Are you comfortable speaking English to me? It sounds
English.
like you, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so just for the record, I'm saying it is March 7, 2024. The time is 10:38 a.m. This is a reference to case number 24001896. And Kissimmee. Person present are myself, Detective Morris, Detective Reyes Soto, and spell your first name for me.
Nathalie.
And your last name.
I even redacted her last name, even though all this is in the reports. But
And what is your phone number?
A lot of scam calls. Because of my work, unfortunately, sometimes my personal number gets used. So I get a lot of like robocalls.
Right.
So I do apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
I can save your number and like that.
Yeah, when I leave here, I'll give you my cell phone number. So then if we have to communicate, then you have that number saved and I'll pop up with it.
For sure.
So before we start, if I can just get you to raise your right hand. Do you...
Okay, for those just coming in, it's on the ticker. It's Jennifer's roommate, Nathalie, on 3/7/2024.
Swear and affirm that the statement you're about to give is the truth, nothing but the truth to the best of your knowledge, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay. So you're kind of aware of what's going on with Jennifer Soto and her daughter Maddie and what happened with Madeline. I'm assuming you know.
I can tell you because I've been super like blinders. I know that something happened to Madeline, more than likely in the property. And that obviously because a child's involved, naturally DCF, and there has, for the sake of Maddie, there has to be a deep investigation. That's as far as I know.
Okay.
So, because I haven't talked to anybody about this, I've been really at home. My boss gave me the time off, so like I've been just healing here.
Perfect. Keep doing that. This is a lot. And being that you were...
Yeah, the blinder, fly on the wall says blinders, just like Jen. She's just a stay in her lane gal. She's just a stay in her lane gal. But like I said, guys, we got to quit. We got to quit pointing the fingers. We got to quit pointing the fingers because they're living in hell from guilt.
Kind of close to the situation, it makes it that much worse for you, you know. So if you have family support and stuff like that, that is the best thing for you, you know. And if your boss is giving you time off, then it makes it even better. I don't know if you're still getting paid, but it is what it is. So, all right, I'm just going to start kind of from the beginning. How did you and Jennifer become to know each other?
So I first met Stephanie Soto. She's my best friend.
Okay. Stephanie is Jennifer's sister, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. Okay.
And I'm pretty sure we met in middle school, but we got really close in high school.
Okay.
And in getting close, like you make family. I met her mom, met her stepdad, and like her little sister. Then met Jen. At some point, once we graduated, all three of us moved in together. And I think we lived together for maybe 9 months, 10 months. Like between, I was like 18, 19. And then Jen got pregnant with Maddie, and then she moved out. And then we all took our separate lives, but we stayed close. And because we ended up having children the same age, we kept the kids together. So Maddie was one of my son's first friends.
Okay.
So, because my son is 12, Maddie's just turned 13.
So she's given her pedigree about how she knows Jennifer Soto. So this is a person who's known Jennifer for an extremely long time. And I feel like that her opinions and her thoughts about Jennifer, her personality, her behaviors, and all this other stuff are very credible. And I say that for a reason. As the interview goes on, then you'll see why it's important that she is so familiar with Jennifer.
So that's kind of, in that process of raising kids together, like you kind of form like a sisterhood. And with Jen, I always felt a little bit close because we shared just, I guess, similar struggles, like with anxiety. And like, I feel like she was able to share with me, like I was able to share with her, like just anxieties of motherhood sometimes, you know?
She's easy to talk to.
Yeah, and I felt like I'm naturally, me as a person, I'm very much like, I want my peoples to do good. Like, I don't want anybody around me to fail because that's a reflection of who you are. So even throughout this entire time, I've been helpful, like just trying to like help the family as much as I can. That's just the personality that I am. So I kind of gravitated to her because I felt like she needed that too, you know? So at some point, I needed a place to stay. I was, having lived on your own and then having to come back home. You crave wanting to have your own space at some point. And Jen had the room available, and I still happened to be a master, so I don't have to share a bathroom with anybody. And that's how we get to the point where I'm there. But our friendship spans from like since I first met her.
Gotcha.
You just kind of like developed that. Because I was best friends with her sister, we never, till this day, like she was her sister.
When did you move into the place in Venetian Bay?
Yeah, this friend, Natalie, is best friends with Jennifer's sister. They have been since kids. Hey, Mom, Mind the Monsters, good to see you here.
I apologize. I thought this was the video without commentary. So I'm going to let this keep playing, but I'm going to look for the video without commentary on it because I don't want to just like use his whole show like that.
2000, I feel like I almost made it 2 years. In January, it would have been 2 years.
Okay, so 2022-ish? Okay. When you moved in, who all was living in the house?
Jen, Maddie, there was and I never call her name. I'm very much like in my own world always, but she was like an older lady, maybe like 30, I'm sorry. I forget how old I am sometimes, sorry. But she was like maybe 39, by 2 years ago I was moved in, I was 2 years, so I was 32. So she kind of seemed older to me, but she was always to herself, hardworking. And then Angelica, which she lived right next to me, and then myself. So we have 4 females essentially.
Okay.
Live together.
Angelica was the one we did the other night. She's the one they needed the translator for.
At any point between 2022 and now, did anybody move out and move in?
The older lady,
okay,
she moved out.
Do you know roughly when?
I want to say like 6 months after, like between 6 or 7 months after.
After you moved in? Okay.
Yeah.
So summertime of 2022-ish.
Yes. I mean, because we didn't live with her for too long after I moved in.
Okay.
And I'm thinking the span of 2 years, right? So it had to be within the 6 months that she left.
Okay. So she moves out. Does anybody move into her room?
No. I think that they wanted to keep it open to possibly rent it out. as much as I wanted to rent it out for my son, it just wasn't something that I could do at the moment.
Gotcha. Now I know because I've been inside the house or condo, townhome, whatever you want to call it, and I see bedrooms are numbered. So downstairs is the master bedroom, then upstairs is 2, 3, and 4. Mm-hmm. So what number were you staying in?
2.
Okay.
Corner right, corner left, with the master bathroom.
And recently, so within the last few months, Angelica was still staying there. Mm-hmm. Do you know what room she was staying in?
Next to me, so I think she was number 3.
Okay.
Pretty sure. She was to my, when you come in, she was my right.
Okay, and was anybody staying in number 4?
So, once this lady moved out, they had it open for a good amount of time. And then, so within, I want to say the time that this lady moved out, at some point, Stefan moves in. And the reason why, so like Stefan, for like the last 5 to 7 years, I want to say, has been like, he was part of the furniture type shit. Like he was in the surroundings. Mm-hmm.
I thought that comment was hilarious. He's part of the furniture.
So like,
but seriously though, even though I kind of feel like that comment was made a little in jest, it says a lot about Stefan's personality. He's a predator. So being a predator, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. Like you don't really want to stand out that much. Because if you draw attention to yourself, then people are likely to start seeing through the facade and seeing the real you, the predator you. So I think that particular part of Stefan's whole presentation of himself could be a little bit intentional. Just let me play it low key. Don't stick out. Don't draw attention. Just kind of blend in with the background. Because when you do that and people don't notice you, they're not paying attention to details about you. She said he was like part of the furniture. I don't really pay attention to my furniture. I can't tell you a whole lot about my favorite recliner except, hey man, it's a lazy boy, it's red, and I love it. But other than that, it's not like I'm paying attention to my furniture to know the details of when was it manufactured, where was it manufactured, what store sold it, how many people owned it before I got it. You know what I'm saying?
seeing him move in wasn't something that like, because
I chuckled when I first heard her say this, when she called him furniture.
a good amount of time. And then, so within, I want to say the time that this lady moved out, at some point, Stefan moves in. And the reason why, so like Stefan, for like the last 5 to 7 years, I want to say, has been like, he was part of the furniture type shit. Like he was in the surroundings. Mm-hmm. So like, seeing him move in wasn't something that like, because at that point I had known about him and seen him, mm-hmm. like it didn't seem like a big deal. I mind my business, right? Like mm-hmm. I do my due diligence for me and my son. Mm-hmm. I can only ask that for like, the people around me. Mm-hmm. So in that situation, because he never came at me at all with anything, I stayed in my business. I stayed in my little corner. He stayed downstairs. And then at some point they break up or they have some type of issue. He needs his space or whatever the fuck. He moves upstairs.
Okay.
So, and I want to say he lived upstairs for like maybe 3 or 4 months, and then at some point he leaves.
Well, she lived there for 2 years, but she knows that Jen and Stefan had been on and off for 7 years, is what she's saying. 6 or 7 years.
Once he leaves, I don't know what happens once he leaves. Then you start seeing him come
No, this is not the roommate that he spied on, Nancy.
back around just to like visit. And again, I mind my business. I'm in and out. I see him like, yo, what's up? Jen, you good? We keep it moving. Like, that was just like the everyday life, right? Like that was it. So once he starts, at some point, I guess, at some point I didn't even know he was here. Like I had no idea, but that room ends up being used for him to be able to be there and help her if like she needed help with the dogs or something like that. Again, what I'm saying now, it's what pretty much, because I didn't understand why he was here. Like I didn't know he was here. So by the time I'm being told that Maddie is gone, I'm like, well, what do you mean? Who dropped her off at school? Stefan. Okay, well, what the fuck is Stefan here? Oh yeah, he stayed there overnight. I was like, what the fuck? But anyways, so like at some point, I guess because it was open, then that allowed him to be able to have somewhere to stay with, I guess, when he was trying to help Jen with the dogs, something like that. But the point is, within the time that I stayed there, he lived upstairs for like 4 months, and then he dipped out. At any point, if they used that for him to stay at some point, if I didn't see him downstairs, I didn't know, because I was just in and out. But from what I remember, he stayed there for 4 months, and then he left.
Okay. So before we dive into that dynamic, relationship-wise, so what was your relationship with Angelica?
So Angelica's a very nice person. She's a very cordial person. You can tell that that she comes from like a family that taught her like about her culture. She would cook a lot. And like, I'm not the best cook, so like I like to learn and I like to see, and especially if the food smells good, me and my son are there, you know?
Yeah.
So it ends up being like a little bit of like, because Maddie was downstairs, we ended up kind of watching her cooking together. But that's as far as it really goes, because again, you know, I'm an operation manager. I work between 40 to 50 hours a week.
Where do you work at?
Like the service, like plumbing industry. So we go to people's houses and
Gotcha.
yeah, like fix their plumbing. But anyways, I pretty much run like 3 different departments. So I'm just always like in and out. But as far as like every time I talked to her, it was really pleasant, hi and bye. If I sat down and spoke to her, it was like we had like a Valentine's Day type of situation, because like we were all like at that point single, and like it's, especially for her, she doesn't really have anybody out here, so like we just try to do something special together. And I get to know her and her situation, but it wasn't anything like, I'm not like, even to now, if I check in with her, it's just to make sure she's okay. But like, am I talking to her every day? I never really spoke to her every day. If I spoke to her, because I saw her in the kitchen cooking, essentially.
So when you would live there, you said a majority of your time was spent in your bedroom. Any point that you would hang out in the living room? I know some of the living room was partitioned off from Maddie.
Yeah.
Did everybody kind of gather around the living room, or did everybody pretty much stay themselves in their room?
So, if we gathered, it was because either like I was cooking and Jeremiah and Maddie were watching me cook, or we were having a birthday get together or Easter get together. Like we try our best to keep the kids together throughout the occasions, just because all of us are so busy throughout the week. And when I mean us, I mean like the group of kids. It was Maddie, Aloysia, and Jeremiah. You know what I'm saying? So like those were the kids that were typically together, and Aloysia's sister.
Who's Aloysia?
It's Stephanie's daughter.
I gotcha. Okay. Yep.
So those were the moments that we would really congregate around that area. But as far as on a day-to-day, I was mostly upstairs. Because if we were home, it's because we had finished going to school, picking up the groceries, taking my son to therapy. The errands of the day were done, and our time to kind of like calm down, start our night routines. That's the time that we were pretty much home. Is during the time that we're settling down, going to sleep. Because then the next morning we're back outside. Either whether it's the weekend, we're out. We're either walking, hiking in the lakes, trying to keep ourselves busy. If I was home, it was momentarily take a nap, get ready, be out again, parents' house. So I just intentionally for my son, I try to keep myself really busy because I work so much throughout the week.
Gotcha.
So if there wasn't really, in my eyes, the only time that we were really downstairs were when we were celebrating something or having like a special like little event or get together for the kids.
All right. So Stefan, how long? Okay, so you've lived there 2 years. Was Stefan already living there at the time, or?
So I know, and like I said, he was very much, it seemed like he was part of the furniture type. Like he was just around for so long in the background that like, I want to say that when I started living there, he was already like, if he wasn't moved in, he was already like settled in type.
Would it fair to say that he was already established there, like clothes and?
I think so, like belongings, but like really in her life, yes. Like like he, believe me, like, and it's so weird knowing just the all little stuff that I know now because you're around someone for so long, and it's like you don't really ever know anybody like at all. But anyways, unfortunately, seeing him wasn't something. Like I said, he was part of the background.
What was your relationship with him?
So, I don't, like, my only issue with him really was that throughout the time of, if they ever had like a fight or a breakup, the venting that I received from Jen was that, you know, he didn't provide at all, and he didn't like.
Also, there's nothing wrong with the audio when it goes in and out. It's because the law enforcement agency that released it redacted some parts of it.
So, I mean, I have my expectations for someone that I'm with, and like, we share those expectations, me and Jen, and he just wasn't living up to that. And it was mostly because of whatever mental health stuff. Listen, everybody has their mental health. I don't want to judge anybody, but those still got to get paid. And that was always my issue. And when I don't like to be ingenuine. So when I feel that way, I keep you at like an arm's length. Like, I don't really get close to you like that. Like, if I can't really fucks with you like that, like, I'm not really around you being fake like that. So that was how I kept him. And again, very much part of like the scenery. Like,
Gotcha.
He didn't stand out to me. Like,
would you consider him a friend?
No.
Okay.
No, because I never spoke to him outside of the hi and bye. I never had his number. If I know anything about him, is because Jen would vent to me the issues that they would have as a couple.
What kind of issues would they have?
It's the having to, he was at the house and like Because he lived there longer than I did for sure. So just not bringing in money of his own, really, not being able to hold a job and really.
So she could see right through him as far as being the deadbeat that he is, that he's just a mooch and he lives off everyone around him. This roommate right here, Natalie, has some really good insight into people.
Whatever mental health issues he had, being that the crutch of why he can't do and operate.
Now, did you form this opinion prior to all of this happening within the last week, or have you talked to Jen and you kind of came up with the same?
They've been together for they were together for 5 or 7 years between that. And this is feedback from all these years.
Okay.
So once we started living together, the venting, there was no communication in regards to the relationship, just because once you start living together, I want to be able to hold the peace, and she does too. And it's hard to let someone in when you live with them like that. I don't want, if she ever needed to talk to me about anything, I know that she would. But when we started living together, we didn't talk as much as when we did when we didn't live together. I would see her every day. If we took the kids to the pool, then we had maybe 15, 20 minutes to catch up while the kids were at the pool.
We already played both grandmas interview, Momo Sharp. We've already played Deborah's, and we played Yolanda's, the other one, the other grandma, Jennifer's mom.
But we wouldn't really talk about Stefan. I think it came to a point where she had talked and vented so much to me when they finally broke up, that
other than, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but did she come out and tell you the reason that they were breaking up is because he's not providing, or were there other reasons?
That was pretty much I think they were fighting a lot. And
what would they fight over? Do you know?
I don't know specific details. I just know that sometimes I would hear them fighting, yelling. But I couldn't really hear specific details. And then, I said, she really stopped talking to me once they got back together, because I think she felt kind of weird, her talking so much shit to me about him breaking up and then at some point getting back together. She didn't really even tell us that they were back together, to be honest with you. So at some point within the 2 years of me living there, she stopped really venting to me about Stefan and about the relationship. If there was really any issues with wanting to get a job, and I was really proud of her, because she ended up having the job at the Disney concierge, and she was doing super well, in that mental aspect.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've heard all these other interviews that talk about how most of the time she either slept with Jen or they all slept together, and in at least one instance, she sent her and Stefan to number 4. Sorry. This gal leans into more. She always seen her sleeping down there in that little divider room area, bed space that they had for her.
Okay, so like I said, she has some really good insight, and she talked about Maddie sleeping in her room downstairs, but Jen said that Maddie never slept it. That's not the only thing that she said either. It's coming up. Stick in there and listen, because being an independent party, I guess, is what I want to call her. She doesn't really have any reason to lie about anything that she saw or observed, anything that was going on around her. She has no, she doesn't really have a dog in this race. So she has no reason to lie. So she's more believable and credible than Jen and Stefan ever were.
So I don't know.
But like it wasn't really about Stefan. It was more like about personal, like having to, maintain this job, like, cause she's never really been able to maintain like a really good.
Right, Dulcie, who says the child safety is the responsibility of all the adults in the home. And trust me, gang, she knows that she literally says that was her job, and she failed. I mean, it gets sad. It gets sad because, I'm assuming what Jen said is true about being assaulted. So was this lady.
Stable job herself because of her own issues. So she was really excited about this, and those were the type of conversations that we were trying to have just to kind of stay positive. But I know that the biggest issue that she would tell me when she was venting to me was about him not being able to provide. I think at some point, once he started working, like he would spend money on stupid shit. It was always very financial, the issue that she would vent to me.
Gotcha. How was...
Yeah, because his dead ass wasn't bringing nothing in. He was laying around there for free. Unless mommy and daddy paid for it.
All right, so when they broke up and got back together, when roughly was that? Do you remember? The last couple of weeks, months, year?
No. He had moved out. He had been out the house because remember he went upstairs for like maybe 4 months, and then he had been out the house already for like I think like between 7 or 8 months before I started seeing him again. Like it was like I want to say between 6 or 8 months before I started seeing him again.
All right, so within the last couple months, say December of last year up until now, how often do you think you would see him?
Maybe a total of 3 times, maybe. I think.
Anything like significant why he would be coming back? Or just random times? Or
I think the first 2 times I believe he just would stop by. I want to say.
Did Jen say why he would come by?
No, if I saw him, it was because I literally physically saw him, like sitting in the chair where he sit, and I like again just hey, good Jen, good, and then just go upstairs.
Okay. All right. What's your work schedule like throughout? Like, is it pretty consistent or?
Yeah, I have to be because I go by my son's schedule.
Oh, okay.
So I try to be out the house between 7:45. Well, I have to be out the house by 7:50. But like 7:45 is the time that I'm trying to like be out, and from there, I drop my son off here so that my parents can take him to school. He needs to be at school by 9.
Hang on a minute. I want to find that comment. There it is. Upcycle for Earth says, I want a live stream of Stephen Stearns in jail. I like that.
And I start work at 9.
Gotcha.
So I'm typically here between 8:15 and 8:20, and then it takes me about 30-40 minutes to get to work, depending on traffic. I work in Ocoee, the office in Ocoee. So I'm there until, so Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm there between 9, I get there, and 3:30. On Wednesdays, I'm there between 9 and 2:30 because Wednesdays is early day.
Early day, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming he goes to the street right down school right down the street. Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the office work. Once I'm done with that, we either have dinner here or I make something at home. So we could be home between, and that's like, let's say if I don't have to pick anything up, we're home between 6 and 7. We're home between 6 and 7. I finish like an hour of work. He finishes his homework. Then we start getting ready.
Well, I think what she meant was she wants to see a trial. She's ready for a trial. I mean, obviously, we're not going to have a live stream with him in jail. What she meant was she's ready for his ass to go to prison, is how I read it.
For bed, and we're tucked in by 8:30. I either fall asleep with him or I stay up watching TV and finishing work until I fall asleep.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm going to now dig into kind of more detailed information. But before.
So that he just laid some background there of how she moved in, who was there with her when she moved in, all the dynamics. Now he's going to start digging a little deeper for the person who asked the question, what are we learning from this?
I start that, I know you and Jen are friends. You and Stefan aren't necessarily friends. You and Angelica are kind of acquaintances too. And these type of investigations and the seriousness of some of these crimes, we need to get very, very detailed on specific things. Okay. I'm not going to ask you any uncomfortable things, which I don't think are uncomfortable. If you don't feel comfortable at answering some of the things, just let me know, and we can see if we can work around it. Okay. All right. So when the weekend of February 25th, 26th ish. So let's say that's Saturday. So we could go from Saturday.
Okay.
Okay. You were still staying at the townhome? Is that what you want to call it?
The townhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were still staying there, I'm assuming. Living there, I guess you could.
Saturday, before everything happened, or yes, I was still living there up to recently.
Okay.
I moved out because I don't want to be in that house.
Right. Okay, so that's Saturday. Walk me through Saturday.
Okay. I want to say Saturday the 20. Can I check to see the tickets for?
Yeah, absolutely.
My son likes anime, and a new Demon Slayer movie came out. I just don't know if it was that weekend or the last weekend. These last couple of days have been like one blur. Okay, so today is what day?
Today,
the 7th. Okay.
that Saturday would have been the 24th. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the 24th. Correct.
The Saturday was the 24th, which means I had tickets to go to South Chase at 7:20. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we were watching this movie at the South Chase Theater.
Okay, in the evening of the Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were there for 2 hours, starting at 7. Well, it's like an hour and 45 minutes. I was starting at 7:30.
Okay. During the day, were you at home?
Let me think that day. Because we had a late evening, I believe. I'm just trying to think because we're always like in and out.
Mm-hmm.
If I was home between. We left by 6:15. So from 6. Okay. Because Was that Sunday? No. I'm trying to think because we went to Lake Eola. Give me 1 second. Let me look up my financials. I pay everything by card, so.
I don't think anybody pays cash for anything nowadays.
There's some places that won't even accept it. It's kind of scary. Okay, the 24th. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I don't have anything on that day, so that means we went. Could we have gone that day?
So did anything as significant happen on Saturday that you could think of other than?
No, we were really just getting ready for this movie. I know that I at some point wished Maddie a happy belated birthday. I don't remember if that was Friday or Saturday, but I remember that because I felt bad because I had missed her birthday. But no, like we probably woke up early. I don't have any transactions, meaning we went for a walk. Came home, took a shower, started doing like my stuff that I typically do on Saturday nights. I was doing it before, so like that we can be ready for the movie. But nothing seemed out of normal.
Okay. Now Sunday, you see the movie Saturday night. Do you go back home Saturday night, or did you come here?
No. I
Come back home. Okay.
Yeah.
So Sunday, walk me through Sunday. What you did that day?
Pretty sure we went to the Lake Eola Park.
Morning, afternoon,
In the
evening?
morning.
Okay.
Yeah. They have, I think you guys know, they have like a farmer's market. So there was he didn't like anything at the farmer's market, and he saw sushi on the way there. So we wanted to stop by sushi. We ate until we were there until I want to say 12:30, 1 o'clock. And then we started heading back home. I'm trying to think. The moment that like, okay, let me think.
So I'll just try to help you out a little bit. When you get home, is anybody home?
No, I got home a little bit on the earlier side because we had gone out so early, and we had been walking around, so my son was tired, and we kind of just ended up staying home.
Carol, what text message? What's this coded text message that you're talking about, where he's telling somebody that he's going to unalive or kill Maddie? Because I have never heard that or seen that anywhere. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I did notice you said it's just your theory. So if it's just your theory, there's no need for somebody to go looking for it on Google. We've yet to get any text messages except the 3 or 4 that's in that one report. And I don't recall anything in there being even close to sounding like code that he was going to kill Maddie. But, I'm not perfect. Maybe I'm wrong.
By 6:30, we're watching a movie snuggled up by again, 8 o'clock, he's knocking out. And my Mondays are always really hard, so I try to get some sleep before. But like, I didn't see anybody there when I got there.
At any point that.
Right, but they also asked her why she said in that interview, why did you not want Maddie to come home? And that was either a tactic or just he misspoke. There, just because they asked questions in an interview. Everybody has watched that interview, and nobody can find it anywhere in that interview where Jennifer said that. So that, it could be just tactics, strategies.
At night, did anybody come home that you know of?
I never really I always keep the TV so loud, which I'm not doing anymore. But no, in my little corner, I never really paid attention, I guess. Mm-hmm. But no, I once my son falls asleep, I can rest, mm-hmm. and I just kind of knock out or go into my own little world.
Do you keep your TV on all night?
I have a really bad habit, yeah.
Okay. All right. At any point on Sunday evening, Sunday night, did you see Angelica, Jen, Maddie, or Stefan at all?
No.
No.
No, okay. I didn't even know Stefan was here.
Okay. So Monday morning when you wake up, you said you are adamant that you got to leave by 7:45. Mm-hmm. Okay. So your routine.
No, it has not been confirmed that she was pregnant.
I know there's a bathroom upstairs. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's necessarily attached to your room, right? You got to come out of your bedroom to go to the bathroom?
No, it's inside.
Okay, so yours is
It's
inside.
a master.
Got it. Okay. So your routine is get up, you do whatever in the bathroom, come out, get changed, get your son ready, and you guys go. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, when you go and you're leaving your bedroom, did you see anybody that morning?
No.
Okay. Did you hear anybody that morning?
No.
Okay. When you were coming out of your room, you have to pass bedrooms 3 and 4. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Were either of their doors open?
No.
So they were closed, or you don't know?
They were closed.
Okay. When you walked downstairs and you were going out to leave, was Jen's dog wandering around anywhere?
Jen's dog is typically sleeping next to the couch.
Okay.
But I don't remember seeing him.
Okay.
I usually see him on the couch. So if I tell you I saw, it's because I typically see him on the couch. But I can't really say if I remember seeing him.
Now, when you leave, do you remember if Jen's door was open or closed?
Her whole door's always closed, with this much of space, so that the cat can come out.
Okay. Do you happen to look?
Right. Didn't want her to come home harmed, but that's not how he threw it at her in the interview. He said, why did you say you didn't want her to come home? Huge difference.
Be nosy or whatever it may be, and you look towards that to see if the door is open, or could you see anybody inside, hear anybody inside?
No, it was like any other morning.
Okay.
And I just
leave.
Come home harmed or come back harmed, okay. I mean, the key word is harmed, and the detective didn't. He left that word out of it.
Okay. And how confident are you that you left around 7:45 that morning?
I have a meeting.
Taking it down back.
First thing in the morning on Mondays. Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second. I can tell you because my boss typically texts me, and if I'm waiting outside for a parking spot, it's always around 9:05. Mm-hmm. But yeah, because it was Monday, I'm up like, and I had been sleeping late. Okay. Yeah, I had to have left on time because I was at work on time.
Okay, now when you say you're leaving on time, you're leaving right at 7:45 or before that?
Right at 7:45.
Okay. Did anything seem out of place downstairs? Did you see something that may be on a counter or a table or anything that you don't really see on a daily basis?
No. The table is typically cluttered with stuff, whether it's like Valentine's Day stuff or whatever arts Maddie was doing. No, it didn't feel any different. It felt like just another day.
Okay. All right, let's get into Maddie. Anytime when you would leave to go to school, have you ever seen Maddie getting ready in the morning for school or anything like that?
So Maddie typically wakes up when I'm about to like head out.
Yes, literally everybody that lived there was either on the spectrum, was bipolar, or had some other mental health issue. Yes, they did. And it went on by. I couldn't catch who it was, but literally everybody that lived in that home or that townhouse.
I was
I have to think that maybe the thought has crossed my mind that Stefan may have suggested to Jen types of medications that she should use, that she should ask her psychologist for. Because Geodon is a really heavy sedative. When you take Geodon, you're gone. You're out. Real talk, and I hate to put it this way, but just to make the point clear, if she was on enough Geodon, Stefan could have been violently raping Nathalie in the bed next to her, and she would not have known what was going on. So it seems to me that he probably suggested medications to her that she should ask her psychologist for, knowing what the effects were, and maybe because a lot of these doctors will go off what you ask them for. A lot of doctors, you can just go in there and say, "Hey, I want to try this medication for this reason," and they'll give it to you. So, just a thought. Hey, Ra, welcome to the live.
I make my son's lunches, so I'm like downstairs by like 7:40 making lunches, and sometimes I would see Maddie get up, but then sometimes she was late, so it was really yes and no. And then I think that there were times where she may have
No, Jen was not in a relationship with anybody in the townhouse.
been sleeping over her grandma's house. So like,
Where would Maddie typically sleep?
in her room,
In the little partition area. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever seen Maddie get ready for school or anything like that?
No, I think she would get ready in her mom's room.
Okay.
Yeah, no, like if I'm downstairs, it's for that moment, and then I go back upstairs.
All right. Do you know, or have you ever talked to either Maddie or Jen, when Maddie gets ready for school, like when she would get dressed for school, if you know or if you heard, would she just go in her closet, pick out what she's going to wear for the day, or do you know how that would work?
So, not really, because I wasn't involved with like I wasn't in Jen's room watching her get her daughter's stuff ready to know. I know what I do know is that Maddie loved clothes and she loved looking nice, and I can imagine that she would pick out her own clothes. I don't see Jen being the one picking out her clothes.
Do you think Maddie would lay out her clothes the day before to go to school? Or?
I would see her being that type of person. Have I ever seen it? No. But Maddie liked clothes. Like, and I say that because she would we had that in common. Like, I would go downstairs and like try something on for her.
Where would she normally keep her clothes?
She had I call it a bureau, but it's a drawers, where the TV was. And I want to say she had little drawers on the side, like little plastic ones. I think she may have some stuff in Jen's closet. I don't know, but I want to say that's where she had her clothes, because she had like a whole drawer set in her room, in her little partition area.
So when you would leave to go to work or make breakfast or make lunches downstairs, where would Maddie typically be?
In her mom's room at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever see her sleeping in her own bed that's down there?
I mean, I've seen her a lot in that area. A lot of the times that I was down there, it was throughout the daytime. If it was into the evening, she would be like on her computer. But no, I mean, no, I guess she had the area closed off too, so I guess I never really saw her tuck in. Like, I was always like in and out. I mean, she would be in there all the time, but as far as like a full night's sleep, I guess I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Did they ever talk about if Maddie would sleep with Jen?
I mean, I want to say yeah. Because
I'm going to say this again. No racial comments. No political comments. No bashing of someone's sexual orientation. Take that shit to somebody else's chat who allows it. I don't.
their alarm, whenever Maddie's alarm would go off, it would go off in her mom's room.
Do you know roughly what time her alarm would go off?
Like 7:40, like 7:35, 7:40.
Okay.
Only because I heard it. And that's around the time that I'm getting ready to leave.
Got it. Okay. And typically, Maddie would be in mom's room.
Whenever, yeah.
Jen did not get full immunity. She got immunity for that interview. Whatever she said in that one interview, she did not get blanket immunity for the whole case. If they go find a phone that she went and bought and it had pictures on it, she would be crying. But she did not get immunity. She got derivative use immunity that covered only that 1 hour and a half interview. Now, if they go find evidence on their own, then they're going to punch her right in the mouth. But she did not get blanket immunity, gang. She just didn't. I promise you.
Like in the mornings? Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever known, before I answer that, what was the relationship between Stefan and Maddie?
I always saw him because they had been in each other's, and he had been in Jen's life for such a long time. I always kind of felt like that was a father figure to her. I say that, I say that really brokenhearted right now, but that's the way I saw it. Like, I saw him, making food and taking out the dogs, taking out the trash, and being that type of person in that, like that type of role in their lives. I think that there wasn't a moment where I felt like he could ever hurt her.
So when Maddie's alarm clock would go off when she's getting ready for school, and you're saying she's sleeping with mom, would Stefan also be in the room?
So for the last couple months, like I didn't even know they were together, because he, like, if he was there, it was for that moment. Like, he wasn't staying overnight.
No, Teresa, she did not have her own room. She had that little spot there down there in the living room, and she slept in her mom's bed and in bedroom number 4. Mom's bed was downstairs. Bedrooms 2, 3, and 4 were upstairs. And thank you so much for the $20 super sticker. Thank you so much.
In the last couple of months where I would hear the alarm ringing, Jen was by herself. Mm-hmm. Jen would sleep with Maddie because Jen didn't like to sleep by herself. But as far as when he was living there, they made that whole area for her so that she can sleep there. I never ever thought she wasn't sleeping there while they were together, because they had made that whole area for her. When these last couple months that I've noticed Maddie sleeping in Jen's room is because she was by herself. It never occurred to me that if they were ever like in the same bed together like that, because they had made this area for her. And at some point he was sleeping on the couch, like, so it's nuts.
At any point did you ever see Stefan alone with Maddie?
There was only one time.
Okay, so perk up and listen.
Where I had sent a message to Jen. I want to say I couldn't sleep. I was going to the gym, and they were playing Atari. Like, I heard them playing Atari, and the door was...
Yeah, she did say, I caught that too when I was listening to it and boosting the audio. She says it was Jen was the one who didn't like sleeping alone. So I don't know if that...
And that was a very key point that stuck out to me too. And I don't think I've heard any other creator other than the docket just now saying that, Jen was pointing out that, hey, she said that Jen was the one that didn't like sleeping alone. Because it's always been between Jen and Stefan. I think it was Stefan that said that Madeline always had to have human contact to fall asleep, and that she didn't like to sleep alone. But here is Nathalie saying that Madeline was not the one, it was Jennifer. Now, this is where it comes in that I find what she's saying more trustworthy and reliable than a lot of the other stuff we've heard, because she's known Jen for a lifetime. So she would know whether or not Jen liked sleeping alone or needed someone there with her when she slept or whatever. And it seems like that's the truth, since she never sent Madeline, according to her, she never made Madeline sleep in her little bed area. She had Madeline sleeping in the bed with her. So it seems like Jen is the one that needed that contact.
It was just a slip of the tongue, or just a mistake, if she meant Maddie didn't like sleeping alone. I wish the detective would have did a follow-up on that to clarify that, because I knew that would be something that would be caught.
It's like partially closed. And I texted Jen. I was like, "Hey, I just want to make sure you're okay with this because I grew up in a very different household. Like my dad doesn't play, so that's just the way I was raised." So I sent her a message. I was like, "Hey, are you good with this? Like, are you okay with her being in his room?"
So this is the room upstairs. Okay.
And I feel like Natalie is probably the only person that was in Madeline's life in some type of way that made an effort to protect her, because that would have been me too. Hey, look, are you cool with this? Do you know what's going on? Are you asleep? Wake up, come check on your baby. And speaking of baby, this is kind of a little bit off topic, but not. And you'll notice it when we do the Jennifer Soto interview. Jennifer never once called Madeline her baby. That is so odd for a mother. I call my kids my babies all the time. I mean, and they're grown. My oldest is like 33. But they're still my babies. And if something goes down, they're definitely my baby then. I'll tell somebody in a minute, man, look, don't mess with my baby. I'm going to give you fair warning. But never once did Jennifer refer to Madeline in any type of affectionate way. She didn't call her my baby girl. Even when she was talking about Stefan, she talked about how he moved the body. Who says the body when you're talking about your kid? If my kid, God forbid, ended up deceased for some reason, I'm not going to be talking about, well, what did they do with the body? You know what I'm saying? No, it's what happened to my baby. I'm going to call them by name or nickname or something, but not the body.
Yeah, those were around the time that they were broken up.
And what did Jen say?
I can pull it up, but
And I think you're right, Rob. I think she really disliked Madeline because there doesn't seem to be that type of mother-daughter bond there that I personally have with my kids and that I know most mothers have with their kids. Like, it doesn't seem like there's anything. It's like she hated that girl, and maybe she was jealous because Maddie was drop dead gorgeous. Even as a baby, she was absolutely beautiful, and maybe she was jealous. Maybe she was hating.
I'm pretty sure it was thank you, friend, you're good.
So you heard her answer. Thank you, friend. Listen to it again. And then she goes and finds it on her phone and gives it to the officer, but the detective doesn't read it. But here's what's said in the text. I'll let you listen to it again.
It was around the time that they were broken up.
And what did Jen say?
I can pull it up, but I'm pretty sure it was thank you, friend, you're good. To that, I can pull it up if you want me to pull it in.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
But
I don't even really understand that response. Thank you, friend, you're good. Now I'm asking you, hey, are you cool with your kid being up there in a bedroom with this 37-year-old man? And her response is, thank you, friend, you're good. I don't know if she's thanking her for being good at keeping a good eye out.
Yeah, exactly. Because Stefan wanted her, and I think she saw that. She saw how he treated her. Like the detective said in Jen's interview, he treats Maddie.
I don't know. It's a weird answer, weird response. Thank you, friend. You're good.
that's the only time where I questioned anything, really, because, again, the way I was raised, we don't play that.
Yeah, Loonies. You're that was my other.
Have you and Jen communicated after all this happened?
Like after
Anytime last week after Monday?
I've been heavily trying to help the family, help my best friend, and I'm not really like, I don't know how you console somebody that just lost a kid. Like I can't imagine how it feels. I don't ever want to know how it feels. The only thing I've spoken to her is just, I'm here. Like, whatever you need, getting clothes from her house. Like, I'm here to help. That's like as far as the communication with her, how it's been.
Okay, so a lot of you are saying what I said. It could be what, like I said, good looking out. Thank you for keeping an eye out. So, okay, I'm cool with that. Thank you, Sophie, for the super sticker or super chat and supporting the channel. Thank you so much.
Did she ever tell you what happened?
I don't. Like I'm speaking to you coming from a place of not knowing anything. Like, I've been very much affected by it because I myself, like, have a history of abuse. So, like, I always told myself that, like, I would protect myself and my son from this. So it being so close to me, it's affected me in ways that I didn't think it would.
So this gal has been abused also. And, this is legit crying. This isn't crocodile tears. This isn't fake crying. Like I said, they're living. She has so much guilt. I had to edit out what she said. And it's coming up. You'll hear it. Well, you won't hear it, but I'll tell you.
I think if you click on it, it'll take you to like that moment.
Did you have any other text messages between you and Jen about Maddie or Steven or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. So Sunday night, going into Monday morning, did anything stand out to you? Did you hear any noises? Did you hear anybody walking upstairs or downstairs or? When's the first time you heard about Maddie going missing?
Stephanie called me, I think around 6:30 Monday, asking me if Maddie had gone home because they were looking for her and she never made it to school.
So listen, she's literally the first one to go back to the townhouse and listen to what she finds.
The moment that call came in, I went straight downstairs and I checked the bathroom, Jen's room, and her room.
Did you see anything
and
that looked different to you?
It was weird because it was like everything was bundled up. And I don't know if this is how she typically like kept this shit.
When you're talking about her, is that Maddie or Jen?
Yes, Maddie.
Okay.
Maddie's bed. It was just bundled up like if somebody was there. So when I went to grab it, thinking maybe it was, it was a whole bunch of like clothes or like blankets rolled up.
Was that normal?
Maddie wasn't like always the most tidiest person. and she kept that partition pretty close to not be able to see it. Like Maddie struggled with like organization and stuff. But it was weird because I was looking, like at that point I'm looking for her and I see like clothes bundled up and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's her. Like, but no, I wouldn't be able to say if that's her usual thing or not. But it was just, to me at that moment, weird because like she's missing and this thing is bundled up, like if she's supposed to act like she's there or something like that, like it was just really weird.
Now, first, the docket, please do not strike me. I could not find the video with no comment on it. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. When I think of it again, I'll come back and say it.
Weird at that point, but I mean, for me to sit back and think if she ever kept, like sometimes she didn't do her bed. She always had pillows like all over her bed. Should have paid more attention.
When you left, do you know what kind of car Steven drives?
Now, I blew that up as loud as I could get it because she whispered it. She said, I should have paid more attention. I don't know if you caught it or not, but.
Pillows like all over her bed.
The other thing that you remember seeing the big wad of blankets and pillows and sheets and everything that was on the bed in the pictures that we showed? That's what she walked into. She thought maybe Maddie was hiding under there or was wrapped up in there.
Should have paid more attention.
When you left, do you know what kind of car Steven drives, Stefan?
So I end up finding out he's driving this, well, I don't know if it's Lincoln or whatever, but from when I've known him to the last time that I thought I saw him before this whole thing, it was a brown Honda Civic 4-door. Mm-hmm. And it had like a bump on the front.
Okay. When you left, do you know what Jennifer drives?
Yes.
Okay. The white Nissan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you left Monday morning, did you see those cars outside?
I don't remember if I saw her car. So typically she parks in the handicap next, like right there. Mm-hmm. But there's been a van parking there. And like, oh my God. I don't remember if I saw her car or not.
What about Stefan's car?
I didn't see the Honda because apparently he wasn't in the Honda.
Do you remember seeing the silver car? The Lincoln?
No, I don't remember because I've never seen that car before. And I wouldn't, like it wouldn't stand out to me. I don't like that car.
All right. Circling back to, so Stefan is pretty much living at this house up until, according to you, 6-8 months ago. Now, did you ever see Maddie coming and going from his room or Jen's room? I know you said the only time that you've known them to be together is when you text Jennifer about that time. Mm-hmm. Is there any other times that you would see them together?
No, it was always like they were always like the three of them. Like it wasn't. No, and I'm thinking like these last 2 years, right? Like if I ever saw Maddie was either with Jen or she had just came from like going out with her grandpa or being with like Aloysia and like if he was there, they were there together.
All right. Did you hear about the birthday party Sunday?
I ended up hearing about it, but I wasn't invited because it was like super close family only.
Okay.
But
Don't tell me or my mods what to do. Don't ever tell me or my mods what to do. Because if they're inappropriate, they're done. They're getting deleted. Just relax. Just relax, folks. And focus on the interview. That's all you got to do. And don't say stuff that needs to be deleted.
Now, this is an interesting comment. I didn't even see this because I watched a different video without commentary. I just don't know where it's at now. But she said, this person says, so she left at 7:45. That means Stephen Stearns was waiting for her to leave because he was at the dumpster at 7:45. So there it is, another clue. But I wonder where Maddie was at that time. Was she already in the car, or was he waiting to take her to the car? 7:45, it would be light outside and people would be moving around, so I'm kind of confused on that. But I do think that he waited for her to leave to do whatever it was that he wanted to do at the time.
All you got to do. And don't say stuff that needs to be deleted.
I ended up.
Did Jen go to the party?
I think she was working.
Okay.
I think she was working.
This is the job that she's working at Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jen, do you know if she takes any medication?
I believe she's depressed. I want to say it's either bipolar or ADHD or a combination. Mm-hmm. But she does take prescribed medication from her feedback to me throughout the years.
Gotcha. Has she ever tell you like how this medicine affects her?
I know that she struggled for a little bit trying to find like a good medication. I believe she's depressed. I want to say it's either bipolar or ADHD or a combination. Mm-hmm. But she does take prescribed medication from her feedback to me throughout the years.
Gotcha. Has she ever tell you like how this medicine affects her?
I know that she struggled for a little bit trying to find like a good medication for her because it would affect either her appetite or her sleeping. She would feel really drowsy. Mm-hmm. She struggled a little bit there. I believe she got with a really good therapist that like really understood her.
And what she just said right there is another reason that I believe that Stephen may have suggested to her drugs to ask her psych doctor for, because she was trying to figure out what worked for her, or her and whoever her mental health care provider were trying to figure out what worked for her. And so I believe that Stefan groomed her on what to say, to portray herself a certain type of way without her even realizing that that's what he was doing. But he basically taught her what to say and what to ask for, so that he could be in a position where he didn't have to worry about her waking up and finding out what he was doing with Maddie.
And got her on something that she was able to work with, because I feel like she was doing better. Like she got this job and she was feeling really good.
All right. Has she ever said any kind of medicine that she takes would either keep her awake or put her to sleep or anything like that?
Yeah, there was medication that would just make her feel super drowsy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that recently or in the past? Or?
It was when she was struggling a lot with it. There was a night where somebody was trying to get into her car. Like, it was super random. And I was, again, heading to the gym, like, at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I see it, and, like, I'm like, oh, like, I'm crazy. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm like, I deterred them from actually breaking in. And I went inside, and I was like, Jen! And, like, she was super, super sleepy. And she had mentioned to me that there was a medication that like made her feel super sleepy.
What was this?
That was like, oh my God. Stefan was still living upstairs because he had came down and he was like, I'm gonna drive around just to make sure they're out. I was like, all right, bet. But Stefan was still there.
Okay. Did Maddie take any medication? Do you know?
I think she needed help, like sleeping, because there was medication that she needed in order to have like a good night's sleep. I believe, according to her, like the feedback that I've received throughout the years, that she does have like ADHD, so she does need something for focus. But those were the only two that I understood as far as from her feedback.
Did Maddie or Jen ever talk to you about the medicine that Maddie takes?
Not in detail, like as far as the name of it or anything like that. I just know that she would vent if like they missed it, and then she would feel the after effects of not being able to sleep or anything like that. Like that's when we would talk about it. When it's like, oh man, like I got to get Maddie back on the regimen because if not, like she's not gonna get sleep. Things like that.
Gotcha.
But it was never like details as far as like I don't know what it was or anything like that.
Did Jennifer ever talk about Maddie to you at all?
Very general motherhood stuff. Nothing like super, like it was always very much like, oh my God, school and the kids growing up and Maddie with her struggles and ADHD, and then my son is on the spectrum, so we kind of bonded over that, like different like research stuff that like that's how we bonded, is because she's really good at that. She likes to know stuff, and I like to know people that know stuff. So but it like teenage like attitudes, excited for trips type, trying to think like anything super like dramatic or anything, because there was never anything about like boyfriends or anything like that. Like we still looked at the kids like babies, like kids. We would take them to the pool all the time. Like let them kind of just chill. But
Did Maddie and Jen ever argue at all?
yeah, I mean, I think that they had their share of mother-daughter arguments. At least that's how I perceived it. Being that like a mom now and still a daughter, like I always perceived it as that. I never heard anything that made me think it wasn't outside of that. But yeah, they would have their arguments.
All right. Now getting to the more difficult questions. It's always out on the news, and
So you heard him getting the more difficult questions. So take a gulp, bite of your snack, perk up, and listen up.
stuff like that Stefan may have. Okay. What do you know about that? And here's where I want you to, as tough as it may be very detailed and truthful for me.
I never would have thought that. Like, I have my own trust issues, right? Because of my own experiences. And you think that you have like a good power of discernment and trying to like spot this shit out. I never thought that anything would be inappropriate. Like, if I ever saw him do anything, was just be like a fatherly figure in a way to her. It's deeply upsetting to think that. And like I said, I have my own reservations. I don't bring people around my son like that for my own reasons. I only trust that my friends do their due diligence with the people that bring around their kids, because obviously it affects us. But I would have never thought about like him really doing stuff with her like that.
And there it is. There it is. We have literally heard that from every person they have interviewed. Nobody.
And the reason that they've heard that from every person they've interviewed is because predators are good at concealing themselves. From my own personal experience, my first abuser, no one would have thought of that. He came from a good family. I know because he was my uncle. He came from a good family. At one point, he had even been an ordained minister. So predators know how to slide in and get you comfortable with them. They gaslight. If you point out something, they know how to talk that talk and have you thinking it's all in your head. So that's why every person they've interviewed has said, I never thought he would have done something like that to Maddie. Whether they're talking about the sexual abuse or the murder. I never thought he would have done something like that to Maddie. Because he knows how to present himself. That soft-spoken voice, the blending in with the background and looking like a piece of the furniture. You know, the whole spiel that goes with being a predator.
Would have ever dreamed in a million years that this monster was among them and doing this to this child.
Like, I don't know, like, I never, thinking about it, like, it just makes me feel stupid.
You can't blame yourself, though.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No, I wish I would have fucking like saw or something. I would have just paid more attention or something.
Well, we all do, Kara. We all want justice for Maddie. That's why we're.
This woman's tears for Maddie are more sincere than anything that Jen has said or done concerning her own child that we've seen. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but the interviews, the interrogations, the news interviews, I don't think anything about her was sincere in any of those. There was no sympathy or empathy for Maddie. It doesn't seem, I mean, I lost a grandchild and it tore me up. I can't imagine how I would feel if I lost a child that I carried and gave birth to. And yet Jen is giggling in her interviews and stuff. And here's this woman breaking down in heartfelt tears about this child that wasn't even hers.
We're here. Everybody, all 6,402 people in here. We all want justice for Maddie.
At any point did Jennifer tell you that she may have known?
No. I mean, I'm very vocal, like, on the way I feel about stuff. And I'm telling you about our kids, man. No. No.
Have you ever told anybody outside of...
Folks, you should have 3 buttons on your screen. You got to subscribe, a like, and a dislike. I don't care which one you hit, just hit one of them. Thank you. Oh yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button though, because I have a goal of 1,000 subs by my birthday in February.
Your family or Jen's family or anything like that that you may have known about?
Now, perk up and listen here, because I know there'll be a chat explosion. And yeah, I did get the copyrights to Chat Explosion. Perk up and listen up.
I'm telling you about our kids, man. No. No.
Have you ever told anybody outside of your family or Jen's family or anything like that that you may have known about?
Now, what they redacted there was that you knew anything about him assaulting Madeline.
No, I mean, I never would imagine that this would be happening. There was the text message that I showed you. Stephanie's my best friend. So I remember calling her and just letting her know, like, hey, I sent this message to your sister. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want beef. And if it creates beef or anything like that, or you never know how people are going to react when you tell them how to parent or anything like that. So I gave her a heads up because I wanted her to know, and I'm always very much open with my friends. So I had that exact same text message that you saw. That's exactly what I told her. And I told her what the Jen replied. But that's as far as, like, because that's the only time where I even questioned anything, just because of the way that I feel about stuff. I have my own reservations. But yeah, I mean, no, that's it.
Okay, and the reason I ask is somebody called it, as you can imagine, this is a very high profile case. Okay. There's people reaching out from all over the country, whatever it may be. But somebody called in a tip to me saying that you may have told somebody that you knew what was going on. Okay. Promise.
This guy looked at me in my face.
Now, this is very interesting. Listen to this.
Knowing everything that he did to Maddie. And he looked at me like if he had no idea. Like, this guy is a fucking monster, and I'll never forget that.
What do you mean he looked you in the face? When?
So we were trying to figure out what happened with Maddie. And, like, I'm very I internalize a lot. So I'm sitting on the stairs, and I'm just like, I'm in like a daze, because, like, it doesn't feel real. Like, it's just none of this is normal. And, like, I stand up, I had to wake up early the next day because I had an appointment in Osceola County. So it was Monday night. Once everything starts like Maddie's lost. And I stand up and I told Jen, like, just let me know how I can help tomorrow once I'm done with the meeting. Like, we'll pass out flyers. Like, we'll do everything we can to try to help her find her. And this man, like he looks at me in my eyes and tells me, like, are you okay? And I'm like, look at him, and I'm like, no. Like, I was like, no, like.
What was his demeanor?
Oh, like, concerned, but he ended up getting like stupid high at some point throughout the night, so he was very numb. But
how do you know he was high throughout the night?
Because like the way his eyes were, like like very zoned out. He was high on something. But like
did you see him throughout the night?
He was literally there with us. Like, there.
This is Monday night, or what night is
Monday
this?
night.
Okay.
Yes, he's there. He's like acting concerned, and like me and Angelica are like Jen is in pieces, and like, no, sir, I promise you that I'm not gonna say this, but I don't like that shit, bro. Like, oh, fuck it, I'll kill him, bro. I would've.
Okay. Now, what she said, but I redacted it, is I would unalive myself. That's how broken this gal is. But she said it in a much harsher way. So in case you was getting a sip or something, listen to it. You're not going to hear it, but you'll hear it leading up to it. And to the person who said I talk slow, sorry, go somewhere and watch it tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday when your people finally get it. Or you can wait and rewatch this on 1.5 speed.
Me and Angelica are like Jen is in pieces, and like, no, sir, I promise you that I'm not gonna say this, but I don't like that shit, bro. Like, oh, fuck it, I'll kill him, bro. I would've.
Did you see, other than I keep going back to Monday morning, and so when you were getting ready for your day, you didn't see or hear anybody? Do you remember what time you woke up?
At like 6:45. My son wakes up by 6:30. He's already in the shower by the time I wake up.
Have you talked to your son about this?
Very much. It's very light. My son's on the spectrum, so he takes things in very quickly, and like, not that he forgets about it, but he like compartmentalizes it and like keeps it moving. He's well aware, but the emotion side of it is a little bit disconnected, just because that's the way he kind of is. But
what do you think, he would have went downstairs at any point before you did?
No.
Okay. Do you what kind of sleeper is he? Is he
deep? knocks out. Always been a good sleeper.
All right. Trying to think. So you wake up 6:45. You do your morning routine. Did you fix lunches and stuff like that day? Okay, and you didn't see anybody.
No.
So when you fix lunches, is that right before you guys walk out the door, or okay? So if you're leaving at 7:45, so 7:15, 7:30 fixing lunches, or
No, like 7:35 to 7:40. I'm downstairs. It's a quick sandwich. Everything else is like packaged. So I just grab everything, put it in there, go upstairs, get them out the door by 7:45.
okay,
So it's all within 10 minutes, pretty much.
okay, and you didn't see Steven or Maddie at that point. Could you hear if any tussling around, if Maddie was getting ready for school, or if Steven was getting ready to take Maddie to school or anything like that? Would you have heard it?
I mean, I was like, every time I saw Maddie, I would address her. I would say, "Good morning, babe. Good. How you doing? Like, you okay?" Like, if I would have seen Maddie, I would have addressed her. So yes, 100%.
Okay, so the times that you've heard Maddie maybe waking up or anything like that, is it noisy?
When the only reason like I see is because I see her coming out.
So, but Monday morning, dead silence, or
I didn't see her at all.
okay, dogs barking, cat meowing, anything?
No, at that time, Sailor is not barking. The cat is still typically in Jen's room.
Do you think Maddie was home when you left?
There had been days where like she had slept over her grandma's house. So to be honest with you, I didn't think she was home.
Have you ever known Maddie to say, "Hey, I want to go to school early"? No. Have you ever known Maddie to like fast food at all?
Fast food? Starbucks. Like if we ever went to McDonald's, we'd get some nuggets or McFlurries. I mean, it wouldn't be something like she would take. Like I have never seen her not be okay with fast food. Like it.
Yeah. Just like any other kid.
Right, right. Like it. Was it constant? No. I think that because we were always like downstairs cooking and stuff. I would think that Jen was cooking for her and stuff. But I mean, I think if she consumed fast food, it was fairly normal. It wasn't like out of the ordinary.
Have you ever heard Jen tell Maddie or anything like that she wanted Maddie to go sleep somewhere else so Jen could get a good night's sleep?
No. If Maddie was sleeping somewhere else, it's because either Jen had to work late or she was just sleeping over grandma's house. But I've never. No.
Have you ever known Maddie to sleep with Jen and Stefan in the same bed?
I've never known about that. I have had so many thoughts in my head since everything happened. I don't want to like confuse what I felt before with what I feel now. But no, like in my head, the way this went was that somebody was sleeping on the couch before they opened the partition area. They opened the partition area so that Maddie can sleep there. Like that's how things went in my head.
What is your gut telling you what happened?
It's very confusing in a sense of like, because this man looked at me in my eyes with no like like acting like he can just do what he did. I feel very insecure. Just in general, the way I view people, I guess. Maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was type. I just feel really insecure about everything because it just makes me feel like anything I ever knew was not right. Like if this was really going on, like, and we didn't see anything, like, that's how I feel. I feel a lot of guilt. Like, I feel like, man, were we just not paying attention? Like, I don't know. That's
Do you think Steven had something to do with this?
What?
Do you think Stefan had anything to do with this?
Oh my God.
Taking the equation out, what you know now.
Right.
Leading up to it.
Like, before everything went down, dude, I would have never thought that this would happen. I would have never thought that he was capable of doing anything to her.
Do you think Jennifer had anything to do with this?
No, bro. No. It's impossible, bro. No.
Why do you say that?
Because we're not like that. Like, we're not, dude. Like, we love our kids.
I feel so bad for her because I mean the way she is so emotional and crying and seriously just hurt in her soul. She's acting more like a mother who lost a child than Jen is.
Oh, that would break my heart.
I'm not saying she did. I'm just asking.
I know, but no, I can't see her. I can't see her being okay with this. No. I can't see her being okay with this. I can't see her allowing this to happen.
Have you seen any of the interviews on the news that Jennifer's done?
There was a snippet, and I literally came across it because it just appeared. I mean, I know Jen. I know, at least what I know of Jen is I know when she's nervous, right? I know when she's not okay. And what I saw there was someone that, and again, it's a snippet. I haven't seen all of them. I don't know how many she did. And I think that, I mean,
I've spoken to her several times already. Sometimes when we're speaking, she seems a little disconnected. Is that normal?
So a lot of, and maybe this was my mistake, but a lot of the...
Yeah, let's quit riding her ass. Let's quit riding the roommate's ass. She was living her own life. She has her own 15-year-old child that's on the spectrum, living daily by a schedule. They already know what time she left that apartment. They already have all the CCTV footage from Venetian Bay. They already know. They already know. They're just asking her to see if she's going to lie about any of the timing. They already know these answers, just like they already knew the answers when they went and talked to Stefan. They knew the answers before they ever even asked him, but they wanted to let him just keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. The monster is Stefan Stearns. If you want to bash Jennifer bash her for being neglectful as hell, but they have no charges against her, guys. And I totally get it. I totally get it. I don't know how this could go on for so long and her not know. I don't understand. I can't explain it. But, you know, not all of these roommates was in this situation for all 7 years of it. And they were on again and off again. This gal didn't even know he was back in the play. She didn't even know he was back in the complex. Townhouse. So I'm with you 100% that, you know, I don't know how Jennifer missed it, but they haven't charged her. If they had anything, they would have charged her. And I'm not defending her. I'm not, you know, she said she's hyper vigilant. Damn it, man. I'd hate to see it when you're asleep. Hopefully they do get Jen. Hope, you know, if they find a crime, then yeah, she'll pay. I promise you. She'll pay. She will pay. But right now they don't have it. They don't have it. And yeah, somebody mentioned earlier about here, if this goes to trial, all these people are going to be up on the stand. So, you know, we need to blame the monster, and, you know, for both cases, the SA case and the murder case. I don't believe for a second that Jennifer had anything to do with the murder, but I see there's a bunch of you who feel different, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree. But there's been nothing in 4 squares of paper that says anything about Jennifer knowing anything about anything yet. There's been no proof. The only thing that she is guilty of is staying high and sleeping all the time and feeling comfortable enough to send her kid off to go to bed with a 37-year-old man. Yes, that seems negligent as hell. But evidently they don't think so. So the monster is Stephen Stearns, not these roommates, not his parents, not her grandmother and sister, you know, not Joe Blow. The monster is Stephen Stearns, gang. And he is so slick at what he did. He was so slick about it. Nobody that we've listened to has said anything except, I would have never dreamed, and there's no way this man would have done this to Maddie. Well, no, Restberger, it's not that I'm being too kind.
So that's pretty much the end of the interview. There's a little bit more, but we've already got the meat and potatoes. I'm gonna try to come back later this afternoon and do some more of the interviews. I'm gonna try to find I have found some on Thunder that are no comment, so we can watch them without you guys having to hear me and someone else commenting. Excuse me. So there's an interview with Stefan's girlfriend that used to work with him at Disney, and that's what we're gonna do next, either this afternoon or tomorrow. So I'm out of here.